On February 5th, 2017, about 6 months into my channel, I got an email from one of my subscribers, and the subject was the Beato book. And the email said, "Hi Rick, I'm an 86-year-old guitar player here in the UK. I've been playing on and off since my first guitar at age 12. Never any ambition to be pro, but was semi-pro many years ago. I'd like to purchase your book, but I feel that at 300 pages, most of it would be wasted on me, as time in years may be limited. Therefore, would it be possible to purchase only the guitar section? I've been following your videos on Facebook and YouTube, but must admit only found your sites recently. Thanks, Peter Smart." So I wrote back, "Hi Peter, I'm going to send you a copy of my book right now. It's great to know that there are people out there still learning at 86. I know I will be if I'm lucky enough to live that long. I salute you. Let me know if you ever have any questions. I'd be happy to help. Cheers, Rick." And that began my friendship with 86-year-old guitarist Peter Smart. Really soon after that, we video chatted. I found Peter to be the most incredibly interesting person. I met his wife, Jean. They had been married for over 60 years. He told me incredible stories about seeing some of the jazz greats. He met Wes Montgomery in 1965 at Ronnie Scott's and told me that he went up and talked to him on the break. And Wes was having a conversation, smoking a cigarette, talking to Peter. I mean, the idea that Peter met Wes Montgomery just blew my mind. He also got to know the great Barney Kessel. You can see them here in this picture together. His favorite guitarist, jazz guitarist, was Joe Pass, like me and my dad. Matter of fact, Peter was very much like my dad. He was a golfer. He was from that era, born in 1930, so 11 years after my dad. But the amazing thing about Peter is that he was really ageless. When you talk to him, you didn't think, oh, I'm talking to somebody in their late 80s. It just never even occurred to me. You could carry on a conversation with him about anything, any kind of music, it didn't matter. Jazz, rock, metal, hip hop, he was hip to it all. He knew how to use any kind of device, computers, got on YouTube, he got on Facebook, he was on Instagram, he had his own profiles, he put up pictures of his guitars on there. He was a real player. He would practice all the time. He would be telling me about things that he was working on, chord voicings, lines, working on standards, reading, practicing his sight reading. It was amazing. It was really, really amazing. I went back and I was looking at some emails from him. I had sent him a link to something and he says, "Got it. By the way, I have a glass of bubbly later to celebrate your 300K." So I had just hit 300,000 subscribers. "I met you this time last year when you had only 38K. What a roller coaster. It's easy to see why you're so successful. Number one, you know what you're talking about." He's being kind. "Number two, you're a good raconteur. And number three, you're not condescending. You don't talk down to people." Peter and I would video chat probably twice a month or so for years. I would always look to Peter for advice. He was a person whose opinion I really valued about anything, not just about music, not just about making videos or YouTube. He had what I call aesthetic aptitude. He knew what was cool. It didn't matter the style of music. He just had an innate sense of what was good music and what wasn't. Even if it was styles that didn't even interest him. And he always had great ideas for videos. He would say, you should make a video about this. Gibson, when they went through their bankruptcy, you guys should make a video about that. You and Rhett should do a video like that. I remember he sent me an email where he said, "Isn't life fickle? Rick Beato, 200,000 subscribers. Taylor Swift, 27 million. I know what I know which I prefer to follow. Well done, mate, for your belief and perseverance, Peter." And he knew all of my other friends. He watched Rhett's channel. He watched Tim Pierce's channel. He was a real lover of music, lover of guitar. I spoke to Peter on August 1st, so just 2 months ago. He told me he had just had a heart attack and gotten out of the hospital, and he was sitting there in his living room. I said, well, why are you home right now? He said, well, it was just a mild one. I said, what happened? He said, well, I woke up and my chest was pounding and I was sweating. And I said to Jean that I think I need to go to the hospital. So they rushed him to the hospital. They told me he had a mild heart attack, but he was well enough to go back home. And we had a great conversation. And at the end of the conversation, he said to me, Rick, if we don't speak again, I want to tell you how much your friendship has meant to me. And I didn't know what to say to that other than, I feel the same way, Peter. Peter knew that the end was near. A couple weeks after that, his grandson emailed me on Facebook that he had passed away on August 20th. So I wrote an email with my condolences to his daughter, Catherine, and she wrote me back this really very nice email. Dear Rick, thank you so much for the heartfelt tribute to my dear dad. He was so happy to know you and treasured the chats you had about music, and especially his love of jazz. He often talks so affectionately about you and your YouTube channel. All our family knew so much about you from Dad. We all follow you now because of Dad's enthusiasm for what you both shared. It was a very special, unique, and inspirational man. He was so loved, it's so hard to deal with the huge hole that he has left behind. Thank you again for your kind and lovely words about Dad, and I'll be in touch very soon. With kind regards, Catherine. About 2 years earlier, Peter and Jean lost their other daughter, Claire, who was about my age. And it was so difficult to see someone, even that's 90 years old, losing a child. It was tough talking to him about it. This is from Catherine's eulogy for his dad. I want to read you the ending. It says, "It's difficult to imagine our lives without such a remarkable man being here with us. But despite our grief in losing him, it is such a great comfort to us knowing our loss means he can finally rest in peace with his precious daughter Claire at his side. I will miss my friend Peter. I am a far better person having known him. And we send our love and prayers to his family." Thank you so much for watching. Thanks, Peter.